Hey, how you doing? Matt Spermatter here on April 2nd, Thursday night after, I guess this is week number, I know it's at least week 8 in my lesson plans that I have actually been teaching full load for 8 weeks now. It's pretty cool to say that I've been doing this for 8 weeks, and it's been definitely a heck of a ride. Really enjoyed being at Blacksburg Middle School, and it's we have a break next week, spring break, and it's definitely well worth it. I mean, it's going to be an awesome time to just have a little R&R, a little rest and relaxation, and I think that's something that is well worth it because I've been putting a lot of time and putting a lot of energy into this experience. And I think that's the only way that you can get good at something is if you put your whole heart and your whole energy into something like this. Sending this out on a Thursday night rather than a Friday, just because tomorrow I have a little shortened day, heading down to Raleigh to fly out and go to my brother and sister's 16th birthday party. So apologize for not sending this out on a Friday, but just wanted to make sure I got it out in time. Reflecting on this week, it's been a really good week. Students have been finishing up their PSAs. Seems like this PSA project has been going on for quite some time now, and it really has. We started it in, I believe it was the first week of March, so we're talking about 4.5 to almost 5 weeks of finishing up these PSAs, and it's taken now the last 2 weeks or so to be in the computer lab and have them record their voice, insert their pictures, and then eventually by Friday, by tomorrow, we should be exporting them as a movie and then burning them onto a CDR. So if all goes as planned, we'll be set and ready to move on whenever we get back from break. This week we had one student from every class present theirs because there were only a couple people that actually had finished on time. So we had them presented, and overall it was pretty good. I mean, the technology issues that we encountered were, things that were to be expected. Some of the formatting didn't go quite as planned, and some of the music that was added didn't sound right or didn't sit right. So it's some technical difficulties that we've encountered, but it's something that we can definitely manage without much more harm. I know I guess it was yesterday, so Wednesday afternoon, we had an incident in 7th period, and there's this student, I won't even say his name, but he's one of those students who's very rambunctious and likes to be the center of attention at all times. And so to start his PSA, he was talking about Walmart and how Walmart, has low prices, but actually is hurting society because of the sweatshops that are going on, I think he said, in Indonesia. But in order to start his PSA, he decided to take like a meter stick and kind of fake out a student, acting almost like he was going to come close to hitting them. But he didn't. But, it kind of caught us all by surprise. I think it might have even caught the student by surprise, though they are friends. So I'm not sure if they had it planned or not. But it was just something that kind of didn't sit right with me. And instead of taking issue with it at that time, we kind of allowed it to go, and then we talked to him this morning. I think that's something that you have to know each student. Katie came in and she witnessed that, and she asked what we would do to kind of remedy the situation. And I told her what that student's personality was like, and how if we had kind of told him that it was wrong right then at the very moment, that he would actually kind of have a rebuttal. He would create even more attention and kind of distract all the other students from what we were really trying to do during the lesson. So that was a classroom management kind of problem that we encountered yesterday, and I think I handled it pretty well. That's the one thing. I mean, you have to know your students. That's the whole issue. I mean, I want to say I know them pretty well. I'm not going to say I know them all, very well, because I haven't been here since. I've only been here since February, not since the beginning of the year, like my cooperating teacher's been. So I think next year I'll definitely have more of an understanding as to what really my students are about. I think right from the get-go you need to, establish what your classroom climate is going to be like, and I think you need to get to know your students. So since February, I've done a pretty good job, I think, of getting to know my students, and in this particular case, I knew how he would have reacted if we had told him that that wasn't okay at that very time, and I'm glad that we didn't do that. I'm glad we didn't wait. I'm glad we did wait until the morning, and I did talk to him this morning about, how that really looks like an act of bullying and something that really shouldn't be going on in the classroom. So I think classroom management is something that I'm going to deal with for the rest of my life. As I was talking to my cooperating teacher and university supervisor, classroom management is not something that you're never going to be 100% good at it, because there's always going to be something that arises that is going to be new to you, and every year you're going to find something that you hadn't experienced the year before, and that, I think that's the really cool thing. I think you really got to be quick on your feet as a teacher. You got to have, you got to have those smarts as to like what to do when that situation arises. So I'm looking forward to hopefully being able to get a job and be able to experience that next year, because I think I could be pretty good at that. I think I understand how to handle certain situations, and I'm excited to learn more. I think that's the whole thing with teaching, and this experience and experience that I'll have in next fall and in the spring and for every year thereafter as a teacher, is the new experiences, meeting new students, and trying to understand them, trying to see what they're about. Because I think the only way that you can really get to know a student is from talking to them right from the very beginning of the year. I think the very beginning of the year is the most crucial point of the teacher-student relationship. But besides that, this week went pretty well. I mean, PSAs will be done by the time we get back from spring break. That Tuesday and Wednesday we got from spring break. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and possibly Friday we'll be viewing the PSAs and grading the presentations accordingly. We created a rubric and a couple questions that need to be answered during the presentation. So I'm looking forward to that. I think learning to talk in front of people is a skill that students need to develop at an early age. I think we don't stress that enough, and it needs to start being stressed early on in the curriculum. I think in middle school we definitely should be having some more presentations going on, and it's stated in the SOLs, and I want to make certain that students are aware of how they should handle themselves during presentations, because for the rest of their life they'll be kind of selling themselves. I try to relate it back to real life issues like going for an interview, or going to certain jobs. Certain jobs you're going to have to be talking in front of people. So I wanted to make sure that they understood that we're not just doing this for the here and now, that we're doing this for the bigger and better of their lives. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoy your spring break. I'll be looking forward to hearing what your week has been like, and hopefully finish off these last 2 to 3 weeks on a positive note. Have a great weekend. Have a great Easter break.